I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is the Stoneopolis mod pack. So, jumping back into some more Stoneopolis, today is going to be a big day, and I have a quote for you. When you whisper to the void, does it whisper back? A good old Destiny 2 quote. And, well, with that, we are going to be spending a lot of time here in the Void today. This portal right here. If you haven't forgotten already, believe it or not, we made this Void portal at the beginning of the series, but yet still have not really used it that much. But today that all changes because we're going to be jumping into a quest that is called Back to the Void. And that's because we're going to have to set ourselves up a laser drill in the Void dimension. And that comes with a couple of problems that we have to solve. And that problem is going to be powering this thing, because the laser drill itself, before even starting to craft it, I do know that the base of the laser drill with just 4 of these are going to cost about 100 RF each. So that is going to be roughly 400 RF per tick that is going to be required just to keep this thing running at its base efficiency. But I think I have a way of doing this. I know a way that we could potentially generate all of the power that is going to be needed for this, and it's not going to be that bad to set up. It's also a power source that requires basically no maintenance at all and should just run forever. That power source is going to be wind power from Immersive Engineering. In the Void, we should be able to place this in, and in the newer versions, it doesn't matter how high or low this is, it has a set rate that it is going to produce power at. Now, that does mean, however, we are going to need to cover all of these wind blades. So 12 of these I think are going to be enough, because once we have these blades fully covered with sails, they should produce about 35 RF per tick, which should definitely get us at about 420 RF per tick, or power per tick, depends on how you want to say it. So I'm out in the Void dimension, and I do want to mention for all of these windmills that we have set up, we're going to need a kinetic dynamo for each. And they do need quite a bit of space in order to properly work. And then we also need these wind cells. These wind cells will get clicked onto these whenever they get placed down. And these wind cells will basically cover the sail, and we'll end up getting more power out of it when doing so. Up to, like I said, 35 per wind sail. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start working on building out a little platform. We don't need much in this dimension. I'm basically just going to be going here to operate this one machine that essentially is going to need all of that power. Now, my idea for setting this up is to utilize these posts to sort of raise this up, and then on top, I'm going to put the dynamos. So there's going to be 6 windmills right here, all facing in the same direction. And I hope this works out and they don't kind of like get in each other's way. But essentially what I need to do, I need to get up here and not fall into the void, by the way, because that will delete everything I have on me. But there we go. We're going to go ahead and place these in just like so. And like I said, the idea is that I'm going to have all of these connected to the front. So let me grab my windmills. They're going to get placed just like this. And then there they go. They should start spinning just like that. Okay, perfect. So that should be functioning. It's weird that they all turned red when I took damage. But there they go. Are they all working though? Okay, so maybe when they're red. Okay, so no, they seem to be functioning. So they might have to be separated out a bit more. So after tearing all of this down, I think this is actually just a visual bug. The reason that it turns red, some sort of weird visual thing, because it will initiate that red color anytime that I immediately, for example, like punch a block or even take damage myself. So yeah, there's something weird with that. So I think that this actually will work in the configuration that I initially had it set up in. So now to add the extra touch to them, I have to basically right click on them with all of the cells. So each one of these are going to get 8. That's going to speed them up and they're going to start producing more power. And so now with everything wired in, I think this looks kind of cool. All of these are spinning at sort of different rates. And I noticed 2 in the middle are spinning like opposite. Well, they're spinning the same way, just a whole lot slower, it seems like. I don't know. But they are all generating power, which is good to know. And I'm hoping they're all generating power at the rate that it's supposed to be generating, at roughly 35 power per tick, like I had mentioned. So now back at the base, it is time for me to jump into diamond production. So I'm going to go ahead and get those sent over, and that should start producing up the diamond gears that we are going to need for our process. And it does seem like 24 should be fine because we're only going to need a diamond gear. Well, we need 4 diamond gears for the laser drills themselves because we need 4 of those. And then the base, we need 2 gears for this. So that'd be 6. And so I think I have everything to make all of the laser drills. So there's that. We've also completed the diamond gear one. And then I need to make the ore base. And perfect. So with everything all prepped up, we just unlocked the ability to set up a laser drill. Now this might seem amazing until you realize, oh, there's only a couple of things that you actually get from this drill. And those things are the ancient debris, emeralds, and the echo shards. I mean, in all fairness, it's not like we're unlocking the ability to passively farm diamonds or anything like that, but we will unlock the ability to passively farm things like ancient debris and be able to make netherite, which is going to move us into some very nice upgrades. Now, essentially to set this up, all we have to do is we have to basically place in our ore laser base in the center, and then we can place our drills like this. We can place our drills technically like this, just so long as they are within the bounding box of the, so long as the laser base is within the bounding box of the laser drill. And you can see the laser drill bounding box right here. And you can see, even if it's placed right here, this will work. But I typically like to have them sort of spaced out a little bit, maybe like 1 block right here. And this is a very nice spacing for them. And it also allows you to access this machine. And you can even see the particles running through it. So as you can see right here, this is directly in the middle. You could even have this spaced out 1 more if you really wanted to. But the main thing we need to get is our power on here. So just on top of these, I'm going to connect in the power, and then we should be able to take some insulated cables and run those down. Each one of these should be taking about 100 power per tick, each one of these laser drills in order to run. So we should see a positive gain in power on all of these if everything is set up correctly. And it does look like we are getting that. And so we should start to see this slowly but surely processing up. And this is going to start producing a few different materials. And I want those materials to go in here. So on the output, we can just have this push to this barrel up top. Now, what are these slots over here? Well, those side slots basically will allow you to go, basically decide what items you want more of. So each operation, there's a chance or a weight of these items actually spawning inside of that inventory. And so you could basically increase the weight a little bit or make the weight more for a particular item by putting in a lens for it. For example, a brown laser lens should get you more ancient debris in that regard. And so all you'd have to do is just basically fill this whole thing with the brown lenses, and it's going to pretty much guarantee that you're going to get ancient debris each operation. Then of course there's speed upgrades. However, that is going to cost a bit more power whenever we start to put all of those things together. So right now it's pretty slow, but the more of these drills you add and the more speed upgrades and stuff that you add into each of these drills, well, the faster this will ultimately go. And I think it's already performed in operation, and there we go. We just got ourselves our first echo shard. Now, it also appears that we are getting nether quartz ore, and we're also getting void stone. Now, because I don't really want those things as much, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hopefully put in a lens that is going to provide more echo shards and also ancient debris. So for this, I'm just going to make some white lenses. These are probably the easiest ones for me to just mass produce. And the way that I can do that is I just basically place in 4 glass in here and then a dye. And that is going to produce the lens. And then I can just toss those ingredients in here and we should be able to produce a bunch of these lenses. Now the white lenses are definitely not the lenses that we want, and so we can actually just dye these, which makes this very, very easy to convert them over. So now after gathering a few materials, for example, like some brown dye, which we got from leaves, I now have all of the laser lenses and we can place those inside. Now a little bit of a problem, however, which is kind of hilarious, the void stone, and also kind of frustrating all at the same time. Void stone actually uses the brown lens as well. So in reality, I just basically and also nether quartz is part of the brown lens. So having the brown lens in here honestly has done nothing for me at all. Honestly, it makes no sense why that was the case. So I guess in reality, you probably could just leave this blank and it wouldn't really matter that much. Wow, I can't believe that was configured that way. Now, instead of that barrel, I've decided to go ahead and set up a drawer system over here from functional storage. So my idea with this is that we will go ahead and send the items directly into the framed or into the storage controller. And then over here, those items should be able to go in here. So to be able to, for example, add this, I need to make sure this is selected, and then I need to try and add it. But this is not going to add because this is technically right outside of the range. But believe it or not, we can actually increase the range on this. So just by adding a copper upgrade, the same thing we would use to increase the storage amount, this is going to increase the range by 2 blocks. So if the range ended right here, this is now going to go all the way to this outer edge. And so we can see that just like so, which is perfect because this now completely covers these blocks, and now I can add them to the list. It's a pretty cool thing. The fact that you can actually expand this all the way up and you can make the range on your controller quite large. So now I think moving forward, we need to go ahead and take our ancient debris, as much of it as we can, and then also snag some of the echo shards. And I've already grabbed my emeralds because instead of just using a diamond mesh like it wants us to use for our processing of our debris, what I instead want to do is I want to take this and I want to process it with the emerald mesh. So the emerald mesh, because we are generating these now infinitely, we should be able to make this. So yes, I'll make 2 of those, and then we're gonna have a separate spot dedicated to producing resources with our debris. So I should be able to, for example, take like 4 of these, and I should start getting those smelted down, and that is going to turn into the basic debris that you get. So the scrap metal, and then from the looks of it, that scrap then gets washed or strained inside of a strainer. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use our everlasting input duration, and so hopefully it should basically allow this scrap to last longer and hopefully produce more resources off of just the basic amount that we have in here. And can this even smelt it? You know what? This might actually... It has to go in a tier 3 altar or an arc furnace. You know what? This is what I get for thinking that it's normal recipes. Now, as much as I would love to go ahead and build an arc furnace right now, I think what I'm going to temporarily do is take this out, go ahead and pull this out as well. And I'm going to go ahead and just do these by hand for right now to at least get a couple of them and see how long this is going to last. I'm hoping it lasts a good amount of time. So, okay. So we can do like 4. Let's do, you know what? Let's do the whole handful right here. And so that, oh, it only lets us do 1 at a time, doesn't it? Oh, that's right. I would have to full input if I wanted it to all change. But thankfully it doesn't like cost all that much to do this. So now with our strainer set up, I just have these everlasting input upgrades that I stole from our other machine that is completely backed up. And I'm going to put those in here, and I should be able to evenly split these up just like so. And that should start processing. It's going to use our emerald mesh. Now, the only other mesh that would be better at this point would be combining all of these meshes together to make an everlasting everything upgrade, which is kind of interesting. And on the everlasting everything upgrade, which is hard to see in this particular menu, let's see, where is the everlasting? It's in here somewhere. Everlasting everything. There it is. Okay. So for example, here's a sturdy one. There's an improved. Looks like there's 1 for each. And we would want the everlasting one, which is here. So yeah, it would be a little bit faster. It looks like the additional output chance would have it still at 80%. And it would basically have all of the niceties of all of the other upgrades combined into one. Definitely something I probably want to start working towards. But basically with this, the idea is that, well, we will hopefully end up getting more resources than what we put in. Like potentially significantly more is the idea. We're already getting 6 from here, and it does seem like we've not really consumed much of our scrap so far. So what are we going to do with that after this? So as soon as we get the netherite dust, it looks like we then are going to combine it inside of a crafting table, with an echo shard, and that will get us a netherite ingot. Very interesting. So let's go ahead and take out what we have so far. And I think we get, oh no, we don't get any bonuses here, but I think we have everything to be able to craft this into our first netherite ingot. Like that's happening quite quick. Okay, and there we go. So netherite ingot down, and now this says smithing template can be used to make netherite armor. Okay, and it's going to cost all of our diamond, and we make a smithing template with a netherite ingot, and then that is how you end up getting 2. Okay, so there is no like smithing template upgrades. You have to make your smithing templates this way. Okay, so that's a little side thing that we're definitely going to probably work on. But this says netherite bone. So taking netherite nuggets, we can then make netherite bone. Ah, and this is how we go after wither skeleton skulls. And this is, I'm assuming, how we're going to gain access to the wither. So now I'm actually kind of excited for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and use what we have to actually make those bones. And so it says that the wither skeletons supposedly drop the skull fragments is what it looks like. And now I have made a fluic sword. And now the cool part about a fluic sword is this gives you an innate sharpness, or sorry, looting 1, not sharpness. And the innate looting 1 is going to hopefully help us in this regard. I don't actually know, but it is a pretty cheap item to make and should definitely help. Now, I just got to swap my fluids around. And so on our little spawner over here, going to place down my bucket of life essence, and we should be ready to spawn our first wither skeleton. And there it is. And now I want to make sure I'm the one taking it out. And in doing so, I end up getting a skull fragment. Interesting. And so the skull fragment, so we need 4 of them to make 1 skull. Very interesting. So if we have, okay, we already almost have a single skull already. And that almost completes our entire chapter here. Okay. And then we also get wither bone. Now, is there any use for wither bone? Actually, no. There's no crafting recipe yet for it. So that's pretty interesting. So I'm guessing I should probably break a block up higher just to make sure they don't just insta-die up there. Yeah, I think that's definitely a problem. Okay, so I'm going to make sure to get that all placed in. And now we should be ready to go. And we should be able to just summon all of them that we have and just take them all out. And, oh, wow, I got hit with wither. That's not good at all, actually. Oh, but these drop coal, too. I mean, I don't think it's a great source of coal, but they do drop coal. And would you believe it? We actually got ourselves a wither skeleton skull from that group of wither skeletons. So out of the 9 that we summoned, we ended up getting them. And so there's 3 wither skeleton skulls just like that. And that completes that section. However, there's still the smithing template that we need to make. So we might as well get that made. Oh, also, by the way, update on how the netherite actually is going. So we did initially pull 8 out of here, and now there's 50 in here, and I think we ended up putting like 16 or 18 total scrap in here. So definitely worth utilizing those upgrades to maximize the amount of netherite dust you get. So with that, it's the moment of truth. Time to make the 2 smithing templates. And with that, we have now completed the Void chapter, and that sound just never gets old. It's so good. So now at this point, we have nothing left to do except for kill the wither. Well, right, but no, because we have to prep ourselves for the wither. I don't know if I want to fight this or cheese this, because yes, you can still in this world cheese the wither. Either way though, we probably need to finally start working on getting ourselves some nice gear. And so we set out to craft a bunch of diamond gear and then immediately upgrade it. So we can wear it for right now and look all snazzy with our diamond gear, but we should be able to immediately upgrade it to the netherite. So let's go ahead and craft a couple more of these. Look at this, each one of these, and immediately cover ourselves in debris. I'm excited. Okay, so this is, it looks like it would be very difficult to get to this point. Don't get me wrong, it is pretty difficult, but once you get your strainer upgrades and everything, it's a pretty smooth transition, honestly. I mean, look at us now. I mean, I've been practically naked up to this point. So to better prep myself, I think enchanting is going to be a good idea. So I am going to place down some lava right here. And I think we only need 4 for right now, but I should be able to use my entropy, which is so cool. The entropy manipulator, and I should be able to turn that into obsidian. And I've made myself a netherite pick. And well, now I have all the obsidian I could want. I just have to use that one. So I guess that would be one of the primary uses for that thing. And so temporarily, I'm going to place down a basic enchantment system. And so I'm just going to need 15 bookshelves. Very simple, just like that. And I can now start enchanting. But getting experience is not the easiest thing, and well, I have died a couple of times due to my cables, you know, from time to time. So all of the experience gained over time, I've probably lost, and you've probably too. But you can actually get quite a bit of XP from the Industrial Foregoing mod. See, inside here is essence that's been generating from us basically doing all of our crafts. For example, smelting ores and all kinds of stuff like that. So we can actually use that. So if I grab a bucket of this, I can also make some bottles, and we should be able to make bottles of enchanting with this recipe right here. So just a few bottles, and I put that inside of the dissolution chamber, and we should be ready to go. Let's see, the dissolution chamber, it just ate my fluid. Oh, it just automatically converts. Oh, okay. So it didn't even need bottles. I thought it needed bottles for this operation, but I guess not. So yes, it takes an entire bucket, for example, this right here, and it converts it into 4 bottles of experience. Now there are other ways that we can actually do this as well, and that would be to dive a bit further into the Industrial Foregoing mod. And as far as that goes, I think potentially diving into mechanical dirt would be a very, very good idea. But of course, one step at a time, and right now I have about a stack of bottles. I don't know if I have any more. I think that's about it as far as bottles of enchanting go. So out of the 16, we ended up getting exactly 64 bottles, which is kind of nice. But I think just doing some random enchanting would be a good idea. Maybe I can get up to level 30. Oh man, these bottles do not go very far. Yep, so maybe enchanting not insanely viable at the moment, because unless we're guaranteed like some sort of nice protection, it's not going to be worth it. Oh man. I mean, I think cheesing the wither is how we're going to have to do it. Hey, at least we got max protection on there. I'll take that. That's at least a start. Now, another way that we could hopefully increase our damage output is by upgrading the Vitality Blade. And we should be able to slot a few of these heart canisters in here. And now the reason I have so many of these hearts is because the zombies, believe it or not, drop green hearts, and you can melt those down and then convert them all down into these reds. So all of these just came from 2 of these green hearts. It is kind of crazy to think about, but I do basically have to combine this with a regular heart, I do believe. So yeah, it still takes a bit to make a regular version of this. And what's weird is the more I look at that recipe, the more I'm like, okay, that's kind of odd. You need a regular heart to just make a heart. So I'm not quite understanding why. I'm actually kind of lost there with that recipe. So I think I'm gonna have to go back to doing the unthinkable and taking out some pigs, but let's kind of think of these pigs as not normal pigs. These are like mechanical pigs, because in order to make them, we have to add iron. So yeah, they're not real pigs. And if we use our looting, we should hopefully get some nice bonuses. I don't know if you can get bonus hearts though from pigs in that regard, but I am still gonna take them all out. And unfortunately, it looks really, really bad. Oh man, the corpse is flopping around. That's even worse. So now with 10 of them crafted up, if I put those inside, we see right here the attack damage is 8. But with this inside there, the attack damage now goes up to 8 plus 20. So we now, with just that alone, are setting at 28 base damage. And then, you know, while I'm at it, let's go ahead and fill this thing up as well. So we can make sure this is setting at a maximum of 10, and that should give us an entirely new health bar. Look at that. And so now with all of that, I think we're ready to technically cheese this wither. And the way that we're going to do that is by going up to the roof. But that is going to have to wait until next episode, because today we are all out of time. And I hope you did enjoy today's episode. So if you did, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a huge thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And well, speaking of appreciate, I want to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Anil. Thank you so much, by the way, for your amazing support by choosing to support me over on the Discord and becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. Basically allowing us to not have to run embedded ads. That's what it's all about. So thank you guys all so very much. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye!